He still follows his ex, but doesn't even look at me. I never thought Instagram would be the beginning of my heartbreak. It started innocently enough, a casual evening on the couch, the kind where we used to laugh about stupid memes and share reels that made no sense. We'd lean into each other, arms touching, legs tangled. That version of us feels like another life now. I'm 25, he's 27. We've been married for 2 years, together for 4. There was a time when I believed we had something real, raw, imperfect, but real. We weren't the flashiest couple, but we were solid, or so I thought. I noticed the shift before I could name it, the subtle way his phone became a permanent extension of his hand, the way his laughter sounded more alive when he was looking at his screen than when he was looking at me. And then, the name. Julia. His ex. Her name blinked on his notifications one night while he was asleep. I wasn't snooping. I swear I wasn't. His phone buzzed twice and the screen lit up. I glanced over and saw it. Hope your dad's doing better. You look good in that last post. It wasn't exactly flirtatious, but it wasn't neutral either. It lingered somewhere in the middle, a soft place only 2 people with history can occupy, and that made it feel worse. I brought it up the next morning, gently, just asked why they were still in touch. His face hardened. You're overreacting, he said. It's just Instagram. Just Instagram. That phrase would go on to haunt me for months. I let it go for a while. I told myself I was being dramatic, that grown adults can have history without having secrets. But deep down, something started to erode. Because from that day on, I noticed more. He wasn't just following Julia. He was following dozens of women. Some models, some influencers, others just random pretty girls who posted thirst traps and pouty selfies. His likes were always on time. His engagement was loyal, more loyal than he'd been with me lately. I began to feel invisible. I'd dress up, wear his favourite perfume, try to start conversations, and he'd barely glance up from his phone. But the moment a girl in a bikini posted a picture, he'd light up like a teenager. What made it worse was the comparison. I started questioning everything about myself. Was I not pretty enough, not sexy enough, not interesting enough? I tried to recreate those Instagram girl vibes. I bought lingerie, I even downloaded a couple of editing apps, but nothing worked. He was glued to them and indifferent to me. He didn't compliment me anymore. He didn't touch me unless I asked. He didn't look at me like he used to. I could have walked through our living room completely naked, and I'm pretty sure he would have just kept scrolling. And still, I tried. I begged for his attention with my silence, with my patience, with my hope. Until one day I couldn't hold it in anymore. I asked again, this time more directly. I told him I felt ignored, that it hurt to watch him give strangers the kind of attention I craved from my own husband. His response? You're being toxic. You're stalking my likes. Why do you care so much? It's not like I'm cheating. No apology. No reflection. Just gaslighting. I didn't want to be the kind of woman who checks her husband's phone. But the secrecy made me spiral. He started locking his phone, turning the screen away when I walked by, sleeping with it under his pillow. It broke me, not because of what I might find, but because of what I already felt. Unworthy, unseen, unloved. I started isolating myself. I stopped reaching out to friends. I was too embarrassed to admit that I was losing a battle to people who didn't even know me. I felt like I was fighting for space in a room that should have already been mine. And the worst part, he didn't even notice. We stopped doing date nights. We stopped talking about our future. We became roommates who shared a bed but not a life. I started journaling again, writing down every moment he ignored me, every time he chose his phone over a conversation. My pages filled up quickly, too quickly. I wanted to scream, but instead I cried silently into my pillow most nights while he snored beside me. Every now and then Julia's name would pop up again. Birthday wishes, heartfelt comments, nostalgic emojis. Meanwhile, I'd tell him I had a hard day and he'd mumble, "You'll be fine," without even looking up. I began questioning everything. Was I too needy, too emotional, too intense? Or was I just a woman craving what she was promised? Love, attention, presence. I didn't get married to compete with filters. I didn't say I do so he could emotionally exit our relationship while physically staying in it. I wanted partnership, softness, home, and instead I got a ghost. He was right there, but his heart wasn't. I tried to suggest therapy. He laughed it off. We don't need therapy. You just need to stop being so sensitive. I've never felt so dismissed in my life, and yet I still loved him. That's the part that broke me most, because I missed the man who used to bring me breakfast in bed, who'd write little notes and hide them in my purse, who'd kiss my forehead like it was sacred. He used to tell me I was magic. Now he scrolls past me like I'm a glitch in the algorithm. I began sleeping on the edge of the bed, curling up into the smallest version of myself. Emotionally, physically, spiritually, I stopped talking, stopped trying. One evening, I cooked his favourite dinner, lit candles, wore a soft red dress he once said was his weakness. He came home, looked at the table and said, "You didn't have to go all out, I already ate." Then he plopped onto the couch and started scrolling again. That was the night I realised I wasn't just lonely. I was grieving. Grieving a relationship that still had two people in it, but only one trying. I started seeing a therapist, secretly. I needed help finding myself again. And she asked me a question that gutted me. If he was a friend and not your husband, would you let him treat you like this? The answer was instant. No, never. So why was I accepting so little from someone who vowed to give me everything? I've spent so many nights replaying our story in my head, the highs, the lows, the red flags I brushed aside, the love I thought was unconditional. I used to believe we were soulmates. Now I wonder if I was just a safe option until something shinier came along. Do you know what it feels like to sit next to someone and feel completely alone? To offer your heart, your body, your time, and have it returned with silence? I do, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. Some nights, I still convince myself things can go back to the way they were, that he'll look at me like he used to, that he'll delete Julia, unfollow those girls, remember that I'm right here. Other nights, I pack a mental suitcase and wonder where I'd go if I had the courage to leave. Because loving someone shouldn't feel like begging, and marriage shouldn't feel like a mirror reflecting everything you lack. I've spent the last 6 months trying to shrink myself into something he might notice again. But now I'm tired, not angry, not bitter, just done pretending that this is okay. I don't know if I'll leave tomorrow or next year. I don't know if he'll ever wake up and realize the woman he once said was his world is slowly drifting away. But I do know this. I deserve more than being someone's background noise. I deserve eye contact, warm hands, unfiltered love. I deserve to be someone's favourite notification, not the woman who gets ignored for others. So maybe the question isn't, why does he still follow his ex? Maybe it's, why am I still following someone who stopped seeing me a long time ago? And maybe, just maybe, it's time I finally unfollowed him.